Were you?
Oh, that's really
You're
nice.
doing that.
That's really nice.
You heard
Kinda
me.
like spring out.
Immaculate fields.
You're doing very stiff.
Keep her up here. Yeah, she'll bring it down here.
The boat up.
Isn't that your metaphor?
That's hilarious. Metacarpals?
Metatarsals, metacarpals.
Wait, you have that test today?
Yeah, carpals, metacarpals.
I
I think I failed the one yesterday.
I did too.
Huh.
Yeah.
I told you that last.
What?
It's a peak area.
You're going to catch rain when you pick this
I've never done this.
Like that was kind of unnecessary.
I thought we've already done this.
up. You like staying up till midnight to watch a show that
That's not unnecessary, that was probably more
I think it is unnecessary. Imagine if you went away.
Okay, you haven't even watched it.
addictions.
Yeah, addictions, I don't really care.
You gotta choose what you gotta
Three,
read first.
For
Yeah, you know that filter on
Did it come out at 5?
I was up till 4.
When did it come out?
12 a.m.
It was not out.
Yeah.
Those are Instagram, so it was.
You gotta reload your Netflix then.
Yeah.
I was literally like,
Put all your hope in Instagram. All right, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. We today discuss very briefly, but shortly and most excitingly, scatterplots. They're called scatterplots because
They're scattered.
that already is gonna be there. All right. And basically, the gist of scatterplots is this: not always, when you collect data and graph it, do you get a nice straight line. Probably rarely do you actually get that. Sometimes you get something that looks like this, or something like this, or something like this. And the basic gist of that is, I don't know, well, here. Let's look at the bottom graph here. When you look at this here, this is obviously logical. If you look at what is this graph talking about? You don't know because you don't look at the labels. What's the labels?
Line of best fit.
See, this says sign, legibility, distance. In other words, how far, if you're driving on a road, how far away can you still read the sign? And they compare that to how old people are. So you guys would be right here. So let me blow it up for you. So you people, at 15 years old, you can see a sign at 500 to 600 feet. 25, if you get to be 25, it can be anywhere. And you can see when you get to be 85, this poor person here, it's like a football field away and they can't see it. Apparently the 85-year-olds can see it a little better than the 75-year-olds, but maybe that's because they had cataract surgery. Everybody pretty much had it. You know anybody that had cataract surgery? Yeah, it's inevitable. All of us will. He's probably before you, but since I'm on
I'd
the
rather be
down-
like
since
Abraham.
I'm on the downward slide, it's probably quicker. Now, so the gist of that is this. What you have to look at is a couple of things. Let me throw this at you. Draw this little line here, which you probably don't have a ruler, but none of you care because you don't draw lines. There is a thing called, where's my line? It is called a line of best fit, which means when you look at this little graph here, you want to try to draw a line. This is not a precise or exact thing. You just have to be relatively close. You want to draw a line on it that kind of splits all the dots in half. So it would look, let me adjust here because that seems to be a bit big. We got to change it to red. Red. If I were drawing a line of best fit, what would you say? I'd probably go down a little bit, would I? Would you go down?
Yeah.
You want to kind of, as best you can, split all the dots in half. Okay? And if the slope of that line, if it goes uphill from left to right, it is called a positive correlation. Positive correlation. It goes up from left to right. If the line goes down from left to right, obviously, I can change that back to my red. That looks not too bad, doesn't it? this one would be negative correlation. Which it says on the bottom, if it goes downhill. And then the other one over here, if the dots don't appear to do anything in particular, they're just all out there everywhere, there is zero correlation. Or no correlation, I don't really care what you call it. Correlation. Now, the other thing they're probably gonna ask you to do, okay, and we can't really do it on here, let's go down to another map here. Draw yourself the line of best fit there.
Okay.
By the way, is it positive correlation or negative correlation?
Negative.
Congratulations, you've already got something, right? Let me look and see what happens here. I don't know, if I were drawing this, I don't know. If I were drawing this, I think I would get something, maybe. You can contest my drawing, I don't really care.
It's like exactly what I
What would you say, the top's gotta go down? Somebody give me some help here. The bottom's gotta go up? Does your line look something like that?
got.
Very.
Yeah.
Now, here's the deal. This is negative correlation. But at times, they are actually going to ask you to give the equation of that line. And obviously, you're gonna say, well, the equation of that line, I'm gonna give it in slope-intercept form. Sorry, Jax, it's not your favorite. Did you stay up all night waiting for this show too, Jax? No? If you don't seem to be as perky as usual, which means you're not saying like talking out loud. Are you sure you're okay? Did you go to bed at a reasonable time?
Yeah.
It could be the pajamas. This is like the 8th day in a row he's working on.
I just think he doesn't want to like get dressed. He just wants to hop out of bed and go.
So anyway, writing the slope-intercept form, remember y equals mx plus b. Again, this is not an exact science because, you know, this is kind of a little bit subjective as to where you think it is, but you should be able to get close. The first thing, if you're trying to give the equation of that line, is you would figure out what your y-intercept is. What is my b? If you were guessing over here, this is where it crosses the y-axis. What are you guessing, Ben, that number would be? It's between 500 and 600. Give 550. Well, 550 would be down a little bit, don't you think?
560.
That might be just a touch high. Yeah, I'll go 560. So we got plus 560 here. Now we just have to figure out what the slope is. And the slope is obviously going downhill, so you're going to put a little negative there. How am I going to figure out the slope? Well, again, this gets a little ugly. If you could find a dot that somehow matched up with a couple different points. Let me see a dot on the line that would match up with anything. What if we did this? If I said this dot was on the line, let's just pretend that it did. And again, this is kind of getting close. And I drew a triangle there. Well, I have to find two dots, don't I? Gosh, that's gonna be hard.
I mean, that looks pretty close.
What if it was this and this?
Yeah.
You just have to kind of get some estimates there. And you could just say, okay, this is this distance, which is probably pretty close to that distance, isn't it? Don't you think that's about the same distance? We're just guessing, which is what, 10. And this height, you took this little chunk and put it right here. What do you think? Probably half of that, 50? Sure, John, let's go with that. How high then is that triangle? It's 50 over 10, which would reduce to 5. So y equals negative 5x plus 560. Now the beautiful thing of that, David, is now that you've got that equation, you can predict this anything for any age you want. Let's say you wanted a 2-year-old's age. How far away could a 2-year-old see a sign? Well, 5 times 2 is -10. Subtract 10 from 560. A 2-year-old should be able to see a sign that's 550 feet away if you're using this little thing here. Alright, forget it. I'm the only one that finds this one fun. Alright, tell you what, right now, you, right where you sit, draw me a line of best fit and give me some sort of an equation. By the way, what is this? Wait, it doesn't even say, does it? Maybe this is how much money, this is how much money a kid costs. Oh, no, some temperature and dollars. What could you make a graph that would say temperature? The higher the temperature something is, the more something costs. What would that be, David?
Air conditioner in your house.
So it's 12 degrees Celsius in your air conditioning and something?
Your heat.
Heat, yes, let's pretend it's heat. How much heat costs per temperature? No, that wouldn't be right, because the colder something is, more of the
Air conditioner.
No, the hotter your house is.
The more it costs the heat? Oh, this is the temperature of your house? Yeah, but it still doesn't make sense. It was 26 degrees. Oh. Let's draw me a line of best fit. Try to give me some sort of an equation. As best you can.
I forgot how to get the
You
equation.
can't. Oh, for crying out loud.
You gotta wash me.
All right, here we go again. Jack's for you. Did you draw a line of best fit?
Yeah.
Let's try to get this close. And again, you can kind of finagle this a little bit so it works out better for you, maybe. Finagle. Maybe that'll be extra credit for spelling.
Finagle.
See now, if I were you, ladies and gentlemen, I would, see there's a little wiggle room. I almost have this crossing right here. I would maybe try to move this other one just a little bit so that it crosses at some other point. Or another point to cross. What if I went there?
Cheating.
Well, I know, but you gotta get something decent.
It's cheating.
Let's just pretend that that's it. So you are gonna write that equation in the form of y equals mx plus b. Where does it cross where does it cross the y-axis? I won't ask Ben, because what would you suppose there? Jack?
120.
117.
Roman, what are you thinking? You disagree with that?
140.
No.
No.
I think it's between your two calls there.
I think it's
130.
It almost looks like
125.
it's a third of the way up there.
132.
No, it's not it's bigger than a quarter.
132.
That's it, Jax, I'll give you 132.
Jack, you don't.
Now, the real question is, what's the slope gonna be? And again, I tried to make 2 points that cross, so I'm gonna pretend it crosses here, and it crosses here, and I'm gonna make this right triangle, doesn't matter which way you do it. And it is rise, how high this thing is over how wide it is. You have to look at your scale. Each one of these is 100, 100, 200, 300 over, these are each 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it is 300 over 10, and it's positive slope, so it's going to be 30. Y equals 30x plus 132
Alright.
for your equation.
That'd be cool.
Was that better? And again, there's no exact, you can only get close on this. Drafting stuff like this is not. Is there another one to try? Is it below here?
No, there's no line.
What? What's this one?
Oh, I don't have that.
I don't have that.
This,
Oh, yeah, I do.
it's the very bottom of the graph. It's dollars. I think this is how much children cost
Oh, man.
for whatever
That's a
year,
lot.
how old they are. For example, right here, you're gonna cost $10,000 because that's your birth.
Man.
And here, by the time you're age 10, you only cost your parents $2,000 a year.
I mean, if my parents sold me, they could
Well,
be
you don't
like
understand it,
$1
because they're paying for your room, your board, your clothes, your schooling, they're paying gas to get you places, don't they?
Yeah, Jack.
It's way more than 1,000.
Well, this is 2,000.
It's way more than 2,000.
No, just sports by itself is like 4,000.
Oh, my mom pays like.
It is if you're at some sort of elite softball program.
For one session.
Lacrosse probably is that much too.
What?
Lacrosse.
Probably for this winter session, it was probably $3,000 just for this session.
And that's not including travel and going and back.
No.
All right, give me a line of best fit. Do this. All on your own. You are 8th graders.
All
And
right.
again, it would help if you actually had a ruler or something straight, because I'm not so
I'll use
sure.
my pencil.
I'm not so sure freehanding this is the best option.
This is good.
Straight line.
Can you give me a ruler?
You should not be asking. Hey, Jesse. It feels like a party every day. Hey, Jesse.
Did you watch that show, Mr. Hahn?
I must have missed it.
I used to always watch.
It's the best show.
Oh, I found the point. Okay.
And again, when you're doing your line of best fit, if somehow you could finagle it so that it matches up with a point that connects here, your life would probably be a little bit better. But
How do you
7,000.
get the big number?
4,000. 5, 6, 7, 3,000. Okay.
you think we should be down a little bit?
They're supposed to do it 35.
I got
How do you get B?
All right. Yes, sir. I got it.
You lost me.
Wait, how do you put the points into play again?
Because
Which one
you
will-
find the ones that are on the line and then
You think it should go up a little bit?
Oh, boy.
Maybe this should go down?
I don't know.
How can I do so many examples and you have no idea?
Somebody cracked my back.
21.
That was about right. Russell, are you close to me? Oh,
21.
Can
Can you do something for me?
Hey, y'all. Hey.
Give us a one.
1, 2, 3. Oh, my father's up in heaven.
All right.
Wait.
Lexi Hines, what was your Y-intercept?
What?
It could be.
Mine was
I
21.
wouldn't. I
Mine
don't
was
know.
like.
Mine was 900. I thought
Mine was
10,000.
21.
Somewhere-
I was like 9,000.
I was like 10,000.
Mine was like 9,000.
Mine was about 9,600.
Mine was like 9,120.
Wait, is it always 10? On like when you're going like that on a triangle?
What are you talking
I
about?
don't know.
Or 9?
Everyone's gonna be different,
Are you just like guessing?
a little bit.
There you go.
And how do you
He's
get it right if
estimating.
everyone's kind
I
of like
think it's
different?
9,000.
Well, you'll get a close answer.
This is like
Oh,
hand grenades as long as it's close will come. So you wanna look for, again, ladies and gentlemen, a point that maybe would match up with two of these points. And I might pick this one because it looks like it crosses 7,000 and maybe 4. And then
8.
I almost would pick this just because, again, it's gonna be, because this crosses 9,001. I would make my little triangle. How high is this triangle? In my book, it's 2,000. 8,000, 9,000. How wide is it? It goes from 1 to 4. So that's only 3 wide. So my slope going downhill is negative. I have 2,000 over 3x. Again, if you have something relatively close to that, which if we reduce it down as well, 6, 6,
I just do that.
6, and 2/3. Who came up with something else? Something close to that? Katerina, what was yours?
Negative 500x.
Yeah, again, that's, when you're dealing in thousands, 100's not that big of a difference. Lexi, what did you come up with here?
I'm gonna put 100
Maybe I'm way off. So,
-1/2.
now that I would say can't be right. How could you get 1/2 with your triangle? These numbers are so big, you didn't just count this as one, did
No, I
you?
got 1,000 over 2,000 and.
Wait, but how does this 2,000, Sophie, each one of these, this is just 1, 2, 3, 4.
I was
this
counting with
distance-
my fingers like this, and then I like did like this.
But Sophia, the width of your triangle from here to here is only 1, 2, 3 units. There's no thousands down here. This is your age.
Oh.
Look at the scale down here. Not always are these scales gonna be
Find
the same.
Sophia's,
They can.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, you are going to be, wait, do I have this backwards? Oh, sorry, there's 2 pages to it. How did that happen?
Oh my goodness.
You are going to be scatterplot experts.
where do we throw that is?
Well, I don't know if I would go that. No, there's 2 sheets. There's 2 sheets. They were supposed to copy on both sides.
But they didn't.
See what you can do with such a thing as these. We have such questions.
Oh.
This is way too
Help
confusing
ask
for me.
men.
I don't know.
Oh,
Wait, why are there?
Make sure you read what the graph's about before you do it. There are some fun
What are you
ones.
looking at?
I think there's a baseball one in here. Oh, number 5 is a baseball.
Why do they have to add words?
Can I go get my Spanish?
Not right
I
now.
don't like this.
You did a little bit of work on this. I will Spanish it.
in 06,
I don't understand.
those 24. Man,
I'm hungry.
that's like the price of a WNBA ticket.